I'm Kim Rogers. I am a long-time Yukoner, a mom, a musician. I've been a registered social worker and counselor for over 20 years. And I also have training in expressive arts facilitation, which is what we're going to be doing today. I'm really happy to be here presenting this activity. I have a business. It's called Valkyrie Expressive Art Journeys. And why did I choose Valkyrie? What is a Valkyrie? Valkyrie is a powerful feminine icon from Norse mythology. And she's generally known for guiding people in some type of spiritual or personal journey. So I felt that since that fits nicely with what I love to do with people, I am using the Valkyrie as my business brand. So I have a link in the chat with a link to my webpage. So that's right at the top of the chat for everybody if they would like to check it out. Not right now, but whenever they have time. That's for you. And yeah, so I'm delighted to be here to lead an expressive arts activity. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what is expressive arts, how does it work, what isn't it, and then we can get into the activity. So what is expressive arts? Expressive arts is any kind of a creative activity that has a wellness benefit. Now, it can have an intended wellness benefit or not intended, but it's creative activities that have some kind of therapeutic benefit to people. And offer some sort of an expressive means. So a safe, comfortable, supportive place to express something through a creative process. And generally, it's a very wide-ranging scope. So it can include visual arts, music, writing music, performing music, listening to music. It can be sculpture, photography, going out in nature and making eco art. Could be dance, movement, painting, collage. It's got a writing, poetry. It's very wide ranging. All these activities are considered under the umbrella of expressive arts. So what do you get from doing expressive art? Well, some of the things that you can achieve are relaxation and calmness. It's a great way to focus into the moment, to calm your busy mind. You can improve your mood. You can gain insights about yourself, connect to some sort of intuitive process within yourself or a higher power that can maybe do some guiding through your creating. It's a great way to discover what your truest needs and wants are, or to formulate goals, to try and explore a direction for your life. And it can just be fun and joyful and something that you can do that doesn't have a lot of expectation or pressure or that it has to be beautiful or it has to look like something or be something at the end of it. It's really all about the expressive part of it being the therapeutic part. And just allowing, another big part of it though is having your work witnessed by another person. So sharing what you've made, or sharing the process, how it was for you to make that art or do that creative activity. The sharing piece at the end of it is also part of the therapeutic nature of expressive art, because that's how we can feel heard, validated, seen, appreciated. And when we share what we've done with another person, it's relationship forming, it's trust building. It's taking a bit of a risk sometimes, but that's part of expressive arts, is the sharing piece as well. I find it's a big part of it too. So how does it work? What is different about expressive art and different types of therapeutic activities? Well, doing creative things uses different parts of our brains than our logical thinking parts. And so when you bypass that logical thinking, verbal part of our brains, we can sometimes get at issues, answers, and aspects of ourselves that aren't always able to be expressed through words. And because our verbal side, goes along with our logical thinking side, and whereas the creative side, it isn't verbal, but it's very expressive, and it tunes in to different parts of ourselves. So it can reveal different things than talking. And so that's how I think expressive arts is really special, because sometimes people can't express through words what they're feeling or what they need or what they want. Sometimes those things are really hard to express, but if you can get people doing something creative, it provides a different way to get to some self-insight or some self-reflection, and a different way to come up with answers as well. Yeah, so that is expressive art. Now, how is it different from art therapy? So it's not art therapy. I am not an art therapist. I have training in expressive art facilitation, so I prefer to call myself an expressive art facilitator or a practitioner. But art therapy is it's a specific profession. It's got specific training, and it's designed to be more client counselor based. So the very fact that we're doing this in a group setting and it's the first time you've met me removes it from art therapy. If it was art therapy, you would be in a counseling setting with a therapist, one-to-one likely, doing art making. It's generally not inclusive of different modalities like music and writing and dance and body movement and all those things. Art therapy is generally focused on visual art techniques. So it's far more specific. It goes deeper. It needs specific training. It's based on the client counselor relationship. It's generally longer term work. Whereas expressive arts can be done in lots of different settings. It can be done online here. It can be done in complex care settings, in schools, in correctional facilities, public workshops, all sorts of different settings where people can come and not necessarily have a personal or a therapeutic relationship with me as the facilitator, but still come away with something therapeutic. So, I mean, there's lots of different ways to explain what's different between art therapy and expressive art facilitation. But to try and keep it simple, I'm just going to say they're both very different and they both have different outcomes. I think expressive arts is more spontaneously based. It's based on spontaneous expression. It's based on the client or the person who's doing it coming to their own conclusions or getting in touch with themselves, becoming more self-aware, reaching their own answers or whatever it is that they need through the art making. And even if there is no specific outcome therapeutically, it can be therapeutic just to sit down and do something creative and fun and focus your mind and get out of your thinking mind and into your creative mind or your calm zone. So the art making itself is therapeutic, or the expressive activity doesn't have to be art. So those are some of the ways that these things differ. So today I have a specific activity designed. So to get started, I wanted to do a little bit of a guided meditation with you. I've got some music here I'm going to play, and I'm going to guide you through a little bit of a meditation to just kind of bring you into the room, get you centered, into the present, and kind of quiet your mind to do some intuitive art making. So the activity I've got planned for you is very intuitive. It's not designed to require a lot of thinking. It's not required to have a lot of elaborate supplies to do it. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to make whatever your art is look like anything. I've got 3 different selections of music. I'm going to be playing each piece one at a time. They're short. They're like 2 and 3 minutes long. And the idea is to take a piece of paper and do a visual representation of what you are hearing. And that can be whatever emotions might be evoked for you, or thoughts, or a story, or images, shapes, colors, patterns, anything that might come to mind as a result of listening to these particular selections. And each one's very different. So you'll have 3 different visual representations at the end of it. You can make a title for them if that helps you. A title that encompasses what the piece is about or what the music evokes for you. And then at the end, we'll have an opportunity to be invited to share either how the process was for you, what kind of thoughts you had while doing it, or anything you want to share about your process. Or you can also share what your piece actually, what the finished product is. Like I said, you don't have to have elaborate supplies. I've got some markers here. If you've got a pen or a pencil and a blank piece of paper, that's fine. The idea is not to have to create anything in particular. There's no expectation about finished products. It's all about the process and what gets evoked for you emotionally through these tunes, and how maybe you can make a visual representation of that. Okay, so if everyone's ready, I'm going to move to the meditation part. And I've just got some nice quiet music here that I'm going to put on. Hopefully it won't be too loud behind my talking here. So if you'd like to find just a comfortable position wherever you are, somewhere that you can just let your body relax, close your eyes, or you can focus on something in the room that's that you can focus on in your environment, and just do some light breathing, slow, deep breaths, taking the breath in, breathing it out. And I'd like you to imagine that you're beside a quiet rolling stream. The surroundings can look however you wish. Use your senses to imagine what the stream looks like going by. The color of the water, the sound of the stream, the feel of the air, any other physical sensations that you notice. What time of day is it? Is it sunny or cloudy? Are there trees or other vegetation around you? What do they look like? Are there rocks What do they look like? What are you sitting on, and what fragrances might you notice in the air? And whenever a distracting thought intrudes on this scene, take a moment to observe it and imagine placing it onto a leaf and into the water. And watch as it floats downstream. Place as many of these thoughts onto the leaves as you wish. Whether the thoughts are pleasant, uncomfortable, or neutral, treat them all the same by letting them gently go as you keep yourself in the present, in your spot by the stream. And when you're ready, slowly and gently bring your thoughts back to the room you're physically in at this moment. Bring your thought to your body, wiggle your toes, pay attention to what you hear. Slowly open your eyes fully to see your surroundings and take a deep breath back to the here and now with focus and calm. Okay, I hope everybody felt that that was a grounding way to bring yourself into the space to do some art today. So if you've got your supplies, I would invite you to take your first piece of paper and whatever writing utensil you've got with you, writing implement, I guess, drawing, markers, pens, pencils, crayons, pastels, whatever it is. And I'm going to play a musical piece here. Now it's short. It's only 2 minutes or so long, two minutes and something. I may play it twice just because we're kind of, if we're new to this activity, we may need a little more time to kind of get into the activity and focus on what you're hearing, turning it into visuals. So I will get this piece going. Again, just listen, discover what is coming up for you, what it evokes, what you visualize when you hear this music, and try to put it onto paper. Here we go. Okay, that is our first piece. Would anyone feel like they need to hear that again? Or were they able to, just maybe in the chat box, let me know. I may not play it again if everyone feels that was long enough to get a visual down. Come up with a title if you want. Remember, you don't have to, but sometimes it's helpful. I'm adding a word to mine. Okay. All right. People felt that was long enough. Fantastic. Okay. So if you want to put that one aside, take out your next piece of paper. And I've got a different piece this time, piece of music. And let's see here. Here we go. Okay, whoops. Alrighty, that was our second song. Does anyone feel that they need to hear that one again? We've totally got time, so don't feel as if you'd be holding anything up. I think it's, how long is that song? A couple of minutes, two, almost 3 minutes. That's good, okay. Great. I'm glad people are being so spontaneous with this and really just using the short amount of time to come up with whatever wants to come for you. That's wonderful. There's not a lot of time to do a whole lot of thinking about this. That's the idea, right? It's meant to be an intuitive based exercise. Okay, got one more here to play. So get your third piece of paper out and ready to roll. Okay. And that is that one. Does anyone need a second go through for that one? Okay. Seems like everyone had enough time for all of those pieces. I'm thrilled. Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to move to debrief and witnessing section. This is where we can have some discussion and kind of take a look at what we've done and do some sharing and reflecting, or just some reflecting. You don't have to share what you did. You don't have to share anything. I would just say that in this section, it's important that if the person would like to invite feedback on what they're showing. That's perfectly acceptable. Sometimes it helps to kind of get some feedback from the group on the art piece that they're seeing. It's just important that we don't try to interpret the art piece for the person, or yeah, just I think the focus should be, how does that make me feel when I look at it? Or what do I see? Or what does it evoke for me when I see that person's work? Or maybe ask the person a question about it, a reflective question. And, you know, then it's more encouraging for people to share if they know that it's in a safe and comfortable and confidential space for them to share something very personal and meaningful that they've created. So that's about all. Just a little bit of caution. Keep it confidential, keep it positive, keep it encouraging, and keep it to what you experience when you see the person's work, rather than placing any kind of an interpretation maybe on it, because it's important that we all interpret our own work and make meaning of it that's personal to us. Okay, so thanks for participating. This is where the video, I think, is going to go off now, but I want to thank everybody for taking a chance with something different and new, and kind of a fun experience. But I hope that everybody who takes part in it gets something out of it for themselves. And if you are not part of today's live recording, that if you could find somebody to debrief your artwork with, that would be really good. That would be a really nice part of the process to kind of close the circle. Okay. My link to my website is in the chat at the very top of the chat. I put a link to it if you want to, and I will be doing more of these. So keep an eye out. SOS will have the information on my upcoming workshops on their website, and you're welcome to join in anytime. Thank you.